I don't know if everybody in this building has heard this or not, but Revive Church is getting a new home. Yes, yes, baby, yes. Oh my goodness, this has been such a great home for us, but we are leasing this. So every month we pay a lot of money to the mall, and we love the mall, love you guys, but we would much rather be sowing all that money into something that is going to continue to grow and be a staple for the community, and not just be a place where Revive Church goes to church and has church, but something that the community can be belong to, that can be involved in. Church is not something that you go to. Church is something that you belong to. And we want this building to be a beacon for the community. It will be where Revive Church holds church. But, oh my goodness, the potential of this building is massive. And so I wanted to show you guys a little bit more breakdown about what we're about to do in this spot. So show our Google Earth image video. This is our building that's located at H.G. Mosley and the Loop, and all around it is one of the biggest family gatherings in East Texas. This is Lear Park, where there's softball fields and baseball and soccer fields. Go ahead and go to the next one. Look at what all is around here. We're in the same driveway here as Pine Tree Middle School. There's the Pirate Stadium. All those are soccer fields. They're even still building on. They're building stuff because there's not enough space for the hundreds and hundreds of families that come here every single week. This is our building right there. That's Revive Church. Boom. Now this is taken about 3 or even longer years ago. So some of the places that are already developed, like that splash pad is fully developed right now. Across the street over there, you see that brown area. That's where the new animal shelter is, and it's fully developed, and the grass and the trees are already growing and everything. I did want to show you guys and tell you, well, go ahead and go through. This is the stuff that's around this building. That's Kids View Park that's right out our back door. This is the splash pad. This is Whataburgers right across the street. This intersection is huge. All right, big intersection, the bingo place, Sonic, there's the animal shelter. And so there's tons of stuff. This intersection is a really, really busy intersection. There's lots and lots of traffic at this place. I just wanted to also tell you guys that when I was at the Unite conference, this is one of the coolest things that happened at the Unite conference. I got to go backstage at the Belcher Center, and I walked up one time at the pastors that we're networking with. They're back there and stuff, and there was this lady. She's about this tall little sawed-off thing, man. She's standing right next to me, but she's facing that way, and so I just walked up and stood by her. I'm just standing next to her, and then I saw all these people taking pictures of me, and I'm like, why are these people taking pictures of me? And then this lady turned around, and it was Christine Kane. I'm like, oh, they're not taking pictures of me. I'm just kind of in the way. But what was really neat about this conference, the coolest thing that happened is all of the other pastors already knew about Revive Church and our building because they follow us just like you guys on Facebook and follow our page and stuff. So do the other pastors as well as I do theirs. We're involved in each other's churches. Every one of the pastors came up to me with the biggest smiles, pats on the back, shaking hands. Man, congratulations on y'all's new building. That is huge. That is awesome. We're so excited for y'all. All of the pastors, not one pastor was like, man, dang. I wanted that building. Pastor Eric Love with Church on Purpose, man, he said something that just blew my mind. He was all smiles. He goes, man, Pastor, congratulations. That is awesome. He said, our church looked at that building. What a great location. That's the best location in Longview. Our church looked at that building, and it just wasn't in the cards. And now I know why. God was saving that building for Revive Church. Isn't that cool? That was so awesome. For another pastor in town to say that, it blew my mind, and it lifted me so much, man, because I know that God has a specific plan for Church on Purpose too, and He's got a building already waiting for them that's specifically for them, and we're going to be just as happy for them when that happens. But man, it was just so incredible to see all these pastors acknowledging what a great location it is, that it's such a God story, and so I wanted to let you guys know that like where we are, we're totally transparent here at the church. We're transparent with our finances and with our projects and our plans and everything that we do, because this is not my church, it's your church. This is even not necessarily yours, it's God's church. But this is our church that God gave to us to oversee, but it's dedicated to Him. This is God's church. Our new church building is God's church. So I wanted to bring everybody up to speed with everything, and then we'll start the message that God has for us here in just a second. But I wanted to clarify something that I said in a video, and I said it last week too, and it was brought to my attention that it wasn't quite real clear. Well, I told you guys that the guy that owns this building, when we were talking to him about acquiring this building, that we didn't quite have enough money to get this building, and I asked him if he would donate an additional $300,000 to our church to enable us to get this building, and he said yes, and he did that. But what I just want everybody to be clear on is that he gave us an additional $300,000 off the price of this building, to drop the price of the building even further than it already was. He already was selling to us at less than half of its market value, and gave us another $300,000 off in the form of a donation to the church, because when you donate to the church, you get tax benefits and all that kind of stuff. And so it came off the price of the building to enable us to buy the building. Now, we have sunk pretty much everything that we have. We have saved money. All of our tithes and offerings and stuff we've used for missions and ministries and benevolence and all, but a big portion of it has gone into putting it away every single week and staying true to the principle of giving a portion to the Lord every single week and don't even touching it. And so we were able to be very, very good stewards with the money that has come in through our church and buy this building. But it has taken pretty much everything that we've got to buy this building. So we want to do some stuff to the building. And we are going to need all hands on deck. We need some painters. We need some sweepers. We need some people that can tape and float on drywall. And we need some folks that can just give, because this stuff costs a lot of money. All right. And y'all know me. I don't like talking about this, and I've been sweating it and nervous about it all week. But I'm like, man, this is such a cool project. Such a cool project. And if you want to give to this project, I'm fixing to show you what needs we have. If you don't want to give to this project, please pray about it and consider giving something. Give your time, talent, or your treasure. Somehow get involved with what God is doing, man. God is stirring us up. And it's going to be so awesome to watch what God does through this building in our community. When we have a youth center type stuff happening there, when we have kids tutoring programs and after school programs, when we bring in speakers like we did at the Belcher Center to come and bless not just us, but the whole community can get to come and be a part of this. When we have special musicians that come and light this place up, lives are going to be changed through this building. I see this being a community hub. It's going to bless so many people besides just the folks at Revive Church, and I just can't wait for what God is doing. So this is what the building currently looks like, all right? And it's not wonderful, all right? Now, it is in excellent shape. It's all built out on the inside. There's already rooms in it, all built out. It's in excellent shape. Roof is solid, floor is solid, lighting is solid, everything is great. But the outside of the building was just kind of put up, right? And so this is a rusty tin and stuff on the outside, and there's not even it's kind of, it's two-tone. Anyway, we got to paint this building, all right? So first thing that we got to do is clean up the building, and we're going to have a work day. Some of y'all already asked, when are we having the work day? As soon as I know when we're going to close on this building, I will tell you, and then we can schedule our work day, because once we close, we can get the water turned on, because you don't want to go over there and clean the building without water turned on, because the potties don't even work if the water isn't turned on, and we're going to need those, right? Not to mention water to help clean the building. But as soon as that happens, I'll tell you, so many people this week's like, when are we having the work day? I want to come. And thank you so much for wanting to come. I will let you guys know as soon as possible. So as soon as it's clean, then we got to paint it, all right? And so we're going to paint this building and try to get it looking from that to something like that, all right? If you've seen metal buildings painted, they can look really, really cool, really, really nice. So we're going to go from this. Show them an ugly picture again. Or you can go ahead and go through it. I got another ugly picture. Go from that to maybe that. All right? So it's going to look something like that. And then we got to paint the inside too. So check out the floor plan. This is an awesome, look at, it's already built like this, you guys. Like that's already built out. Well, a lot of y'all saw it and saw what it was, but we didn't have a floor plan at all. We had no blueprints to this building. And so this is the mighty work of Patrick Hindman right there. Thank you, Patrick, for giving us something we can look at. That is beautiful. I mean, it's even all measured. Like the little tiny skinny lines are the measurements, like the feet and stuff. Like Patrick don't play, all right? But we got to paint this whole thing. So I'm hoping Patrick is as good at painting as he is drawing lines on paper. So, all right, so we got to paint the inside and the outside. All right, go ahead and go to the next one. After we get it painted, we got to make the entrance. Right now, there's not doors in the center of the building. The only way to enter the building is through the side. Right now, where you enter in the middle, there's no doors at all. And they had it as it was a glow-in-the-dark putt-putt golf course, right? And while that might be fun, probably doesn't have its place. So we're going to make that the main entrance of the church, which means we got to make doors and we got to make a pretty nice-looking entrance right there. All right, go to the next one. I think it just shows, again, it's just different angle. And after we do all that, we're going to get a sign. Because you got to have a sign on the building to let people know. These are some basic things that we need to do. Clean it, paint it, make an entrance in it, and tell people that we're there with a sign. And so this is what the building might look like after we do all that. This is just a basic rundown of how this might look. You can go to the next one. And I think that is the last one before we go into the next part. This is what this building might look like. And then after that, that's just the outside of the building. Now, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, the Bible says to be attractive to the world. And if we can't get the people to come in the building, they're never going to go through our core classes. They're not going through our discipleship classes. If they don't come in the building, they can't have the encounter with God that happens every week right here. They can't come to Bible studies that we have because they won't know about them. We've got to be attractive to the world. And being attractive to the world should have absolutely nothing to do with what the outside of your building looks like. But it does. All right, it just flat out does. And so we want to be as attractive as we can without completely breaking the bank. And so we've come up with this plan that is really good looking and keeping the expenses as low as possible. Because then we got to build a stage on the inside. Go to the next one, I think is the stage. All right, one thing about this building that's such a blessing is that it's huge and it's awesome. It can house us, oh my goodness, the stuff we're going to be able to do in this facility. But one of the drawbacks to this building is it's so huge. So everything that you do covers a lot of ground. So, this room, we could paint this room, and the other room over there, in a weekend. And we could fit about 4 of our churches in this building. So the stage is big. It's got to be big. If we built this stage in that room, it would look like a Tonka toy, right? We got to level up our game, man. And so the stage is big and lumber right now is high. And so it's just, it costs some money, man. But we're not even going to start with the big picture stuff. But that's what it's going to eventually look like. But the wall behind the stage and all of the backstage area and stuff like that is a little bit more intricate. But if we can just start even with just a platform, we can make it for a bit. All right, go to the next one. Okay, that's just what it's going to look like at the end of that room. And now we got to get to, finally we got to get to, how much is this stuff going to cost? All right, go to the next one. I think that's the next one. All right. Now, you guys, this seemed like really expensive to me. I was like, oh my gosh. When I calculated all this, I was like, that's really expensive. Anyone that's in the construction industry and building industry, though, has told me this is way not expensive. This is incredibly cheap. Matter of fact, the drawing that I drew, I met with a construction company. Awesome people, and they worked up a plan and everything to create in reality what I drew, and it came in at $222,000, and I was like, I'm like, I don't know about that, man. It'd be hard pressed for me to even. I mean, we are a church. And I'm like, do we spend that kind of money on the entrance of a building? Let's see if we can break this thing down, man. And so I started just chipping. What if we designed it a little different? What if we only did, half of this? And what if we just started like this? So I've priced stuff out as much as I can to try to get it as inexpensive as possible, but still look popping, still look very, very attractive. Okay, and so. I can't believe it, but just to paint this thing on the outside and the inside. And this is not paying someone to paint. This is when you guys say, I can paint, and you meet me over there, and we paint, all right? This is just what the paint costs to cover all of the walls. And if we don't get every single wall in the building painted, that's okay. We can start without painting every single wall, and the number would go down, all right? And the stage, just to build that stage, and that's not really even to build it completely with the rooms and stuff on the sides of it like it shows there, but just to get a platform and that wall. You got to have a wall behind the stage. If we didn't have a wall behind the stage, y'all wouldn't even be looking at anything right now. You have to have a wall behind the stage, and so you got to build the wall and the stage. Lumber's high, so that's even a breakdown, simplified version of what that stage might cost. And the sign. Have y'all priced signs? What in the world? I priced signs this week, and I'm like, a couple $1,000 get you a pretty banging. I learned this week that a couple weeks ago that the sign company that is really awesome, East Texas Sign Company that we're going to use, they're really great people. They did the hospitality ER right across the street. They did hospitality ER, and they said you'd be shocked at how much the material costs to build a sign. The H is about this high at the hospitality. They said the letter H at hospitality ER cost $1,000. The letter H? I'm like, man, I can build an H. Like, what? $1,000 for a letter that big? That is nuts. But anyway, that sign right there, that space, it may not even look like that big of a sign, but that's 20 feet. It's 20 feet across. Imagine a 20-foot sign. It's huge, okay? So the signs are very expensive as well. And we could cut there as well. Maybe we could paint the sign on the building. But this is if we could really have it the way that we want it, that is what it's going to cost. And then we got to put in doors, and this glass front, along with those red columns, and to make the front of the building look like that, comes to around $14,000. So $43,000 for this phase one project. I mean, that's a lot. To me, I was like, man. But anybody else that I've said this, just because I'm not used to dealing with dollars like this, like that's not a huge price for construction cost. And I'm like, you know what? I can't forget that we serve an amazing King, an amazing God, and He multiplies our limited resources. You can't lose sight of how we even acquired the building. If you haven't heard the story about how we even got the building, go back and check it out. It is a miracle story, how He multiplies. He's done it over and over and over all throughout Scripture. All right, He multiplies. If you're just willing to bring it, He multiplies it over and over and over. And He's already done that for us to allow us here, so He's going to do it again. There's no doubt. But this is how easy it is to raise the money for the paint. I broke it down. I'm like, man, it's no big deal. When you start thinking from a kingdom perspective, puts everything into perspective. So check out, this is what we need to do to $11,000 to paint this building. Well, all we need is 2 people to have $5,500, right? I bet, raise your hand if you got $5,500 right now today, right? No sweat. Okay, all right. Well, if 11 people gave $1,000, now there are some people that could give $1,000. If just 11 people gave $1,000, you would have it. But here's where most of us live, all right? All it would take is 110 people to give $100. Man, there's 110 people that came into this building. There's more than that came to church today, right? We could raise this today and start painting this thing. 110 people to give $100, okay? And so I didn't put it here. Here it is. So this morning I already knew that I was going to do this, so I came prepared. Y'all may not have come prepared, but I got $100. I'm putting in this envelope. It's going to say building project or something. So if you want to give with cash sometime, anytime during this project, put it in an envelope so we know that you want it to go towards this. All right. And put it in that box back there. I'm going to start us out with that $100. But you're like, man, I don't have $100. Okay. Well, do you have 50? 220 people could give $50 and we'd still have it, and on and on and on. And some of you teenagers are like, man, are you nuts? I don't have this. Okay, teenagers, man, rake a yard and earn $20. Go babysit, earn $20. Be a part of building something bigger than yourself. I can earn $20. $40 buys a gallon of paint. Your $20 buys a bucket of mud that we need to hit the holes in the walls with. I only got $10. That'll buy a paintbrush. Anything that you want to give will help build this project. And if you don't have money to give, then give of your time and of your talent. Come and sling paint on the wall. Well, you got to be kind of able to paint. All right, I should take that back. We're not slinging paint on the wall. We want it to look nice, right? We don't want it to be evident that, did Amari paint that wall? It's pretty obvious. I'm just kidding, Amari. All right, I'm just kidding. Cool. So anyway, what do you have that you can lay down and give to the Lord, man, and watch him blow it up in your life? Watch him explode this and expand this. And if you can give more than $100, okay, if you can give $500, give it. If you can't, don't sweat it, you guys. Don't sweat it. Give with your heart, no matter what that is, even if it's of your time and of your prayers. But if you got $500, give it, because somebody might could only give $20. So you guys, God's got this. God's got it. Pray about it. Pray with your spouse. Pray with your family. Get your kids involved, though. Maybe one day this afternoon, instead of playing video games when they get home from school, you let them earn some money and give them $20 for mowing your yard, weeding your flower bed, or something like that, and then tell them that money is earmarked for that. Or however you guys want to do it. But man, let's get on board with what God is doing. I'm so excited. This was so much fun when we built this place, when we renovated this spot. It was so much fun, and we're going to have just as much fun. And it's going to be so cool to watch God blow this town up with this small group of believers that believed in a higher faith than what we personally have on the inside. But we know that God lives on our inside, and when we are weak, he is strong, and he can multiply our resources, and he's going to do it, you guys. And that's what's the beauty about a church, is that it's not an individually run thing. We're a team. It's a team of folks. This is not my church. This is your church. All right, first dedicated to the Lord. So go to the last slide that says just the building project and stuff. So you guys, we are going to need help on our work day. We'll let you guys know when that is. Helping clear the land that's right out in front. We've been given permission to clear. We don't own all the land that goes all the way to the road, but if you're at Sonic looking at our building, you can't even see the building anymore because it's just grown up. So we need somebody with a brush hog, a backhoe, a bulldozer. Bam! That's what I'm talking about right there. We need somebody. Okay, then see me after, and we need to figure out how to get this land cleared. I've had people tell me that they've got machetes, and I'm like, that's good. That's good. You're gonna be there a while. Like, I got some scissors. But maybe we should up our game. Let's level up our land clearing tools. All right, maybe. Even though the Makita sword of the Spirit is pretty powerful, you might not want to show up with a weapon this big. You want to show up with boom, right? But we're going to need help fixing the walls before we even paint. Painters are needed. Builders are needed. We need help building the stage, to actually, square it up, drive the screws, and drive the nails. We got to have folks that do that. And we can get this stuff done, you guys. So I'm super excited about it. I can't wait. You guys just take it to your families. Take it to the Lord. Pray. How does God want you to be a part of this project, man? And we're going to have so much fun getting this thing done. So you guys, God did give us a word today. It's a